My parents always told me like names have so much power. You've kept the Smith-Young, and women have fought to keep their name, their maiden name. You know, why do you choose to do Smith-Young?
It's my sister and I. And so my dad does not have a son to leave the legacy for Smith. So I was like, I'm going to keep that name.
Carrying on that legacy by making a name of her own, Dr. Jamila Smith-Young is a mother, a medical professional, the First Lady of Memphis, and forever a Memphian.
I grew up in the Cherokee neighborhood, which is southeast Memphis. My parents had big families. My mom had 12 siblings and my dad 6. And so lots of cousins come along with that.
The White Station High School alum with a love for science and math went on to the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, where she earned a microbiology degree and met the love of her life.
And it's where I met Paul. He's 2 years older than me, so he graduated earlier. So I was a little homesick as well, so I came back for love as well as my family.
In 16 years of schooling, Smith-Young earned 2 bachelor's degrees, 2 master's degrees, and a doctorate in nurse practice at the University of Tennessee Health Science Center, making history as the first graduate of the College of Nursing's pediatric acute care concentration within the doctorate program.
It was challenging, but it was good. You know, I enjoyed it, and I was the first graduate. So, you know, not knowing that at the time when I enrolled that would be the case, but so it's kind of history in itself.
With a specialty in endocrinology, she's focused on treating pediatric patients with diabetes and growth disorders.
We are one of the leading cities when it comes to being overweight and obese. The rate that I read was that, you know, with pediatric diabetes, it's growing about 2% each year.
She sees how health disparities in Shelby County affect her patients. Working with kids, she gets to know families and their lifestyles.
Whether it's, you know, the food deserts, or just not having access because of transportation, or just jobs, you know, socioeconomic status, all of those things. So trying to close that gap so we can have health equity.
And that's where her medical profession overlaps with her role as First Lady of Memphis.
What are your top goals as First Lady?
Definitely, you know, bringing out the side of being healthier, like, you know, and just not leaving the little people out, because, you know, we always, you know, think about adults and obesity, but it starts with the whole household. And so, you know, teaching these kids from the beginning, you know, you got to be active. We've got to try to eat right, of course.
A lot of political figures have said that they consult with their spouse on certain issues or whatnot. Is that the same dynamic with you and her young?
Absolutely, we do. So he taps into me asking questions, you know, as far as, you know, what do we do here at La Bonne, or how would you treat a patient if they had to, you know, needed resources for housing. It overlaps a lot when it comes to government and health care.
Have you gotten the Barack and Michelle reference at all?
We have.
I knew it. I knew it.
And that's pressure. That's like, We want to have our own path and our own, you know, lane of things. But there are, you know, Barack and Michelle, of course, have always been, you know, we idolize them as well, and they do great things. But our parents, you know, like we've always... They have been key people that on both sides, you know. I married someone that had the similar backgrounds like me when it comes to serving others.
How are you guys balancing work and politics and your kids?
That's one of my main priorities, to make sure that they still have their normal routine and their, you know, their activities, just making sure that we're present. My youngest didn't, you know, quite understand it as much, but my oldest, like she's into it, and so she's was very involved in the campaign with the debates and all of that.
Even through the challenging work-life balance, the First Lady of Memphis knows being the First Lady of her household comes first.
I want to be a mom that they feel comfortable talking to, and just being there for them, where they can say that they had a great childhood, like to look back out and not have resentment for anything.
As we celebrate Women's History Month, we're seeing Dr. Smith-Young's moment in real time, wearing all her different hats as a living example that women should go after everything they want out of life.
Letting women know it's okay to have a career and be a mom and a spouse. So just the legacy of you can balance everything. You just have to figure out what works for you.
So you can have it all.
You can have it all. You just put your mind to it.